This episode will look at key ecological terminology, how organisms compete for limited resources, the concept of interdependence, and finally, how changes to one species can cascade through an entire community. Let's start by defining the fundamental concepts that ecologists use to understand the natural world. Ecology is the scientific study of organisms, their environment, and the complex interactions between them. First, let's understand the precise terminology ecologists use to talk correctly about environmental issues. A habitat is the physical location where an organism lives and obtains all its requirements for survival and reproduction. Examples include tropical forests, coral reefs, Arctic tundra, freshwater lakes, and even the human gut where bacteria thrive. Each habitat provides specific conditions that determine which organisms can successfully survive and reproduce there. A population consists of all individuals of one species living within a particular habitat at a given time. For instance, all fish of a particular species in the sea. A community comprises all the different populations that interact within a habitat, forming complex networks of relationships. These species interact through feeding relationships, competition for resources, cooperation, and various other ecological connections that bind them together. Environmental factors are classified as either abiotic or biotic, a distinction that helps scientists understand different influences on organisms. Abiotic factors include non living components such as temperature, light intensity, water availability, and many more factors. Biotic factors encompass all living components within an environment, including plants, animals, fungi, bacteria, and other microorganisms. These organisms constantly interact through predation, competition, mutualism, parasitism, and numerous other ecological relationships. An ecosystem combines the community with its abiotic environment, forming a functional unit where energy flows and nutrients cycle. Within ecosystems, organisms require specific resources for survival, growth, and reproduction. Plants need light for photosynthesis, space for their body to grow, water for metabolic processes, and mineral ions from soil for building proteins and other essential molecules. Animals require territory for living, hunting, and breeding, food for energy and growth, water for survival, and mates for reproduction. The availability of these resources directly influences population sizes, distribution patterns, and the overall structure of ecological communities. Since resources are finite in any environment, organisms must compete for them continuously. This competition for resources for survival occurs both within species, also known as intraspecific competition, and between different species, which is known as interspecific competition. In forest ecosystems, trees compete intensely for sunlight, extending their branches and leaves to capture maximum light energy. This competition creates a layered structure of forests with tall trees above, shade-tolerant shrubs in the middle, and specially adapted plants growing on the dark forest floor. Species better adapted to compete for specific resources will dominate their environment, whilst less competitive species may be forced to occupy different ecological niches, migrate elsewhere, or face local extinction. This influences population sizes and habitats. Beyond competition, interdependence exists between species for various services essential to survival, creating an intricate web of dependencies that maintains ecosystem stability through carefully balanced relationships developed over thousands of years of evolution. Plants depend on insects for pollination and animals for seed dispersal, whilst providing food, shelter, and oxygen. in return. Decomposers like bacteria and fungi break down dead material, recycling nutrients that plants require for growth, completing the circle of life. These interconnections mean that changes to one species can trigger cascading effects throughout the entire community. Consider a stream ecosystem containing algae, larvae, and fish. Larvae serve as primary consumers, feeding on algae and controlling its growth whilst preventing harmful algal blooms. They also provide food for predators like fish, making them a crucial link in the aquatic food web. Without larvae consuming algae, algal populations may proliferate excessively, potentially creating blooms that reduce oxygen levels and affect water quality. This example illustrates how removing a single species disrupts the entire ecosystem balance profoundly. Each change triggers further adjustments as the community attempts to reach a new equilibrium, which may be very different from the original stable state. Some communities achieve remarkable stability despite constant small fluctuations in population sizes. Stable communities maintain relatively constant population sizes through balanced predator prey relationships, cooperation between species, and balance with environmental factors. These systems demonstrate remarkable resilience to minor disturbances whilst maintaining their overall structure and function over time. By studying these complex interactions, we gain insights into maintaining biodiversity and ecosystem health. Next time, we'll examine living and non living factors in more detail.